Hello, you wonderful people. So for today's video, I'm going to talk about Daredevil and his role and just what he's going to be like going forward in the MCU. Obviously, we recently got Daredevil's debut appearance in She-Hulk episode 8. Granted, obviously we've had Matt Murdock for a little bit, No Way Home, but now we have full-blown Daredevil. And obviously there's a conversation that needs to be had about, well, this isn't always going to be the Daredevil we get. He's in a comedy show like She-Hulk, so there's going to be a little bit more levity to the character. So, like, he is going to be more jokey and quippy in this, which obviously people have had their reservations because Disney getting their hand on Daredevil because they love the Netflix portrayal so much. They're like, oh, I don't know how, I'm sure Disney's going to, like, mess it up. So you're either in three camps. Either you really liked it, like I did, or you're in the middle where you like some of it, other aspects you didn't, or you're on the other side just being like, I straight up hate it. Disney, Marvel, they ended up ruining Daredevil. So that, which, I mean, to each their own, that's a whole conversation in itself. But I do believe that the other part of this conversation that people have who are more well-versed in comics say, like, no, this is Daredevil in a nutshell. Everyone associates him with the dark, brooding stuff. It's like, yeah, there are those stories, like, very similar tone-wise to the Netflix stuff, but him being jokey and lighthearted, it's like characters fit the tones of whose ever comics they are in, because he's in a She-Hulk show, and the She-Hulk show is straight up a comedy. Then obviously he's going to have a little bit more levity to it, which to me, I'm like, good. Matt deserves to be able to have some fun after 3 seasons of being sad, gritty, and drowning in Catholic guilt. I think he's entitled to have a little fun in some, in more than one way in certain regards. But it does beg the question, once again, like how much of the Netflix shows are canon, which we're still not clear. They made sure to kind of dance around that subject. It probably won't be until, maybe we'll get a little bit more in Echo, but it probably won't be until Daredevil Born Again. I was about to call it Reborn Again. Born Again. That we really get a full context of everything. Because he does reference, like, when he's talking to Jen about his, like, oh, like, we take cases. He says we. For whatever reason, in my head, I was thinking more like, oh, is he by himself? Because he didn't bring up Foggy and he didn't bring up Karen, but I'm like, I don't remember where him and Karen were by the end of season 3 of Daredevil, because I haven't seen it since it originally, like, first dropped. So I don't remember where him and Karen were. Like, I don't think they were together, but I could be mistaken, because I was like, yeah, because when Jen got together, I was like, wait, aren't you and Karen together? I don't remember, but he does say we, so it could be referencing, like, yeah, the Foggy and Karen stuff have already happened, and that, because that was the end of at the end of the series, essentially, they were going to be more of a unit again, like, they were going to find their way back to each other and work together again, kind of doing their own thing. What was it like? I think it was going to be like Nelson, Murdoch, and Paige, I think is what they were going for. They made kind of a point of that, and that was going to be their new start. So that, once again, that's still kind of up in the air, like, fully since then. But obviously the way he talked to Jen is like, no, I've been doing this Daredevil thing for a while. Like, even being like, I'm Daredevil, like, she's supposed to know who he is. I mean, I think it kind of plays nicely with the fact is that he is a street level hero in a world full of superheroes. Like, that superheroes are such big time celebrities that everyone knows Thor, the Hulk, Captain America, Black Widow, Hawkeye, Iron Man. Like, when they're such big names, every other hero kind of falls a little to the wayside, because it's like, I have no idea who you are. You're saying that like it's supposed to mean anything. It's like, well, you're a big deal in Hell's Kitchen, but you just haven't had that worldwide appeal yet. So I just think that's kind of an interesting thing within itself. So finding out the full capacity of what's canon, what's not, does Bullseye still exist in this continuity? Obviously, like, him and Fisk have their run-ins, but it makes you wonder, like, has Matt had any run-in with Hawkeye, considering Clint has had his run-ins with Wilson Fisk as well. So it also does seem like they kind of shifted Matt, very similar like how they shifted Fisk to be a little bit more like his comic book self, like just a full-blown wrecking ball of a, like, unit type of situation. Now, like, how he's kind of got that superhuman strength like he does in the comics. I mean, maybe it's just because it's been that long, but I feel like Matt's abilities seemed even more heightened than they were before. So it seems like they really leaned into it. I feel like maybe, like, going like Daredevil Born Again won't be as, like, grounded as the Netflix version was. I don't know. Like, maybe once again I'm reading too much into it. Someone had brought up something I thought was kind of fascinating, like the thought of like the fact is that he's wearing like a newly designed suit. It's like, well, the last time the public saw the Daredevil suit, it was when Bullseye was running it around in it. So like maybe that's why he has the new. Obviously, it's like the pay homage to like the original suit in the comics and stuff like that. But I'm wondering, is there going to be an in-universe thing of like, well, no, that's that yellow specifically was because like, oh, like his original suit is tarnished because of all the stuff Bullseye did, but you're still running around with the name Daredevil, so I guess you had to like take back and kind of rebrand it with a new suit to kind of ease people's mind. That was something someone had kind of thrown out. I don't remember where I heard that, but I thought that was interesting. Is that a fact? No, but that was someone kind of theorizing something. I'd be like, oh, it'd be interesting if it was like that deep in that regard, because it is like, right, you do have I mean, once again, it's a new universe, so you potentially, it's not the exact universe, so it could be like, once again, we don't know how much is canonical, so it could be like that's on a different Earth, this is this Earth, and once again, you would get back to that conversation because it's the MCU. Were you blipped? Were you not? Because that also adds like, oh, were you doing this superhero thing 5 extra years longer, or were you going those 5 years? Questions like that pop up. But circling back to the whole conversation about tone and stuff, like, yes, he is a little jokey, he's quippy, but I expect that probably won't be as much going forward, because the next thing that we're aware of that he's going to pop up in is Echo, and just based on like the character of Echo and kind of what we know we're potentially getting in that show, I expect him to probably be a little more lighthearted, but I definitely feel with the tone of Echo and her backstory that they probably will lean into the more serious nature, so you'll probably get a little bit more serious Matt Murdock. I mean, depends on, is he going to be Daredevil in that? Is it going to be Matt Murdock, or is it going to be both? I think it just kind of gives you a little flavor of what you can get. This is a side of Matt where he's a little more lighthearted. He gets to have fun. He doesn't, once again, have to be the beaten down and broken and bloodied person that he was 9 out of 10 times in the Netflix Daredevil series. So I don't know. I'm curious. This doesn't even give us a full picture, because people act like it does. Like, oh my god, this is the definitive MCU Daredevil's. Like, no, this is him having fun. Like, he's outside of Halo's kitchen. He's in LA, like, chilling for a little bit. He kind of gets to put everything aside, gets to have a little bit of a walk of shame, full costume and everything. So, he gets to have fun and just, once again, not be riddled with Catholic guilt. I wonder how much they're going to really lean into that with the, I'm saying that jokingly, but like, I'm wondering like how much are they really going to lean into that, because that's a decent part of his character. I mean, legitimately, whatever capacity it is, I want him and Jen to have more like things going forward. Like, I don't know if it has to be like a full-blown relationship or anything like that, but I want those two to like to bump into each other from time to time, because like, for one, I've said it during my review, I love Tatiana Maslany and Charlie Cox like on screen together. They work well, they play off of each other so well, and just like those characters, like their back and forth, I really enjoyed. I'm also curious, like, because I did bring up Echo, I feel like what he was able to kind of help Jen kind of find her way, I think he could help, Echo, because they are so similar too, that it feels like out of anyone, I mean, like, obviously, like, Hawkeye wasn't that person for her. They have a similar circumstance to some extent, but it's like, no, I'm not here to help you. I'm just telling you to back off, or I will kill you if you go near me or my entire family. So I think struggling with all of that, everything with Fisk, with her dad, I think all of that's going to be part of her story, and maybe Matt can help her, considering like his tragic backstory and his circumstances. Maybe he could lead her more towards the path of light, because I think she's kind of walking that lane between right now, or at least where we left her off in Hawkeye. So, and once again, what that means for a show, what someone had theorized, and I think was kind of interesting, is obviously like, because it's 18 episodes, you can really lean into like, like almost like, I don't know if you make it episodical, kind of like certain aspects of She-Hulk, which I know that it's been very hit and miss for people. I would love it if it was that thing of like almost like a superhero thing of the week of like, like Matt joins up with some of the ground level heroes, obviously lean more into like being able to spend a lot more time with him in the court cases and stuff like that. One, just taking that time to slowly reestablish that universe, and also implement other elements from the MCU, maybe kind of give you some flashbacks showing you like, okay, his history in this universe and where he stands, and what's canonical, what's not. Because there's been that whole conversation, I think it came out maybe at D23, that kind of confirmed, I actually don't know if it was confirmed or that this isn't Daredevil season 4. It's more like Daredevil season 1. I don't think it's like a full hard reboot. I don't even think it's like a soft reboot. I kind of treat it almost like, and maybe this is my misconception, I almost treat it like a spin-off. Like, more so like, oh, Born Again is the new series spin-off from Daredevil. Like I said, that could be me just reading too much into it, but like, a great example would be like, oh, like, Leverage to Leverage Redemption. It's almost kind of something similar to that, where it's like, it's season 1 of a brand new series. Not like you're completely owning everything that happened in Daredevil, but this is like a brand new series built off of that canon. And like, it kind of, like I say, a sequel series of sorts, so it is like a season 1. That's how I interpreted that, at least initially, but then it's like, probably like, no, it probably is like a full-blown season 1 of, we pick and choose what we want to make canon and reintroduce it into the MCU and kind of, as I used before, kind of back catalog like certain aspects of that character's effect on the MCU and the MCU's effect on this character, you know. Those are just kind of what's kind of floating through my mind currently. I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments down below. First and foremost, did you like Daredevil in She-Hulk? Yes, no, why not? And also, what does this make you think about Daredevil going forward? Like I said, it's because She-Hulk is such a comedy, of course he's going to be a little more lighthearted, but in general he most likely won't be as dark and gritty as he was in the Netflix show. But still, like, what does this all mean for you going forward with Daredevil when it comes to Echo and Born Again? To be fair, those are the only 2 other appearances we are aware of Daredevil. He could pop in other places, but those are the only 2 things we know so far. Just let me know all your thoughts in the comments down below. But really, that's all I want to talk about. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and good